me, I'm Chase Ingram.
I'm Captain America.
And along with me is Bill Grunler.
Wolverine.
How'd you get down there? Oh, hey. But that is not only, I think this is going to be the largest collective programming podcast in the history of CrossFit podcasts, which I'm super pumped about. We have to the far right, Mr. Do I have this right? No, I don't. I almost screwed that up. I would hit this button.
Is this true?
And I would not want to do that to JR. So to our far right, we have Mr. JR Howell.
Rule number 1. No touching of the hair or face.
Yeah, we got you a new one. Until I find one that sticks, I'm just going to keep rotating.
That one's awesome.
And then we have one I haven't got to play for a while, and Mr. Taylor Self.
All you gotta do is say earmuffs to him. Earmuffs. They can say fuck, shit, bitch, whatever you want.
Cock, ball.
And then I had to, it took some thinking, and I got to say this, rarely ever do we have a first-time guest that gets a soundbite. But seeing as how this is a big show, thought it was a big day, so we also have Mr. Bryson DelMonte.
I know, he's a little rough around the edges, but let me work with him.
Piece of monkey.
All right. I wanted to play the whole clip, but it's like 25 seconds long, and we would for sure get a YouTube strike for pulling from that one. But gentlemen, welcome to the show. I'm so pumped about this. If you guys do not know what's happening, each one of us have programmed 4 events for the CrossFit Games, which we'll all unveil individually as we go along. Of course, I have a twist at the very end. I don't know if I should let you guys know what the twist is first, so we all start thinking while it's going.
Twisties.
Twisties?
I vote twisties.
You want it before or after?
Pre.
All right. The twist is the idea is that everyone had a program, one monostructural event, one gymnastics event, one weightlifting event, and then one mixed modal event. So they could pick any which way they want, a max this, a combo of that, a triplet here and there, as long as it's all in the same modality. At the end of all of our events, we are going to pick one of each of ours from the categories and pick what we would like to see for the very first day of the CrossFit Games. So collectively, we'll vote what our favorite monostructural test was, our favorite gymnastics, our favorite weightlifting, our favorite mixed modal, and we'll combine all of our forces to pick the coolest first day of the CrossFit Games using our 20 events. So,
do we have to use one from each person?
No. We'll only pick one that we think is the best monostructural test one of us programmed. Right? So some of us could go 0 first, some of us could pick 3. We could pick 4 different ones, but that's the twist at the end.
Got it.
I like it.
Before we get started, though, I was talking to Taylor earlier, and there's a lot of things that go on from time to time inside the gym, outside the gym. But Taylor brought this to my attention. I'd love to share this information and with one of your. Is this one of your affiliate members, Taylor?
Yeah, she's a member of our affiliate that's going through some medical stuff. She's in need of a kidney transplant. She's on a current wait list, and this is kind of to help with her journey.
And it's Danielle.
Yep, Danny.
Danny. And now is it one, both? Is it just kidney failure? What's
I believe it's both. I believe she needs both kidneys removed and just needs one kidney. And she's currently on. Is that correct, Bryson? Am I wrong there?
I think that sounds right to me.
And she's currently on dialysis. So I think every day she's going to the hospital or going to the clinic. Yeah, is on dialysis. And she's still in there working out every day.
Yeah, she still is in gym crushing workouts.
Really?
So
yeah, that's awesome.
Dang. If you guys go, it's on GoFundMe. You can support Danielle Fiorito. That's an awesome name.
Danielle Doritos.
Yeah. Danny Fritos.
That's a perfect.
But I put the link in the chat. You guys can go there. If you can't donate, share it. There's a lot of things that we can do to help that out. The goal's 35K. They're almost at 30. So really cool that you guys are almost there. So Danny, hang in there. I wish you all the best. And as one that I've gone through kidney failure before, fortunately, it was just one, and I still had the backup. But I can't imagine the stress on that and what you have to do. So go there, guys. Help. Links in the bio and links at the top. So click that and share it. So wish y'all the best, Danny. Good luck. Taylor does have the greatest avatar of anybody on the show. That's pretty damn good. It's pretty damn good. I couldn't find you guys remember when Boz was programming 22 and they started unveiling like certain events and certain qualities on the diagram? I couldn't find the baseline one. I didn't want to go back 3 years of Instagram to rip it, so I had to make my own.
Yeah.
But I thought that was really cool that they did this. And personally, I think, and the reason why I wanted you guys to do this, I didn't give you much direction other than program 4 events, and these are the stipulations. I would like every day one of the CrossFit Games to be this format, because I think it'd be a really cool way to see one in each modality, one mixed modal, and maybe at the end of day one, is that person who's leading at the end of that day going to win the overall over the next 3 days? I was always curious about that. That's why I really enjoyed 2018, even though they had 2 monostructural tests where they had crit race, CrossFit total, 30 bar muscle-ups for time, and then they capped it off with the marathon row at the end. I thought that was a pretty cool way to do it on day one. We've seen things like that at regionals. I think 2018 regionals was very similar in format on the first few events. So that's why I wanted you guys to do it. Any questions?
And I think it's great to do something like that on day one, because if you're gonna do some specialist type stuff, you need to let the specialists not only shine, but also expose people that might be in contention to actually podium, and not be able to hide the fact that they're not very strong by whatever else is with the heavy workout, or not be able to do something really well, even though they can't run very well. So yeah, I think it's good to do that on day one.
And with a full field too. It's you don't do this you don't do the lifting event when you've cut the field in half, or the long endurance event when you cut the field down to 10. Right? Yeah. Which was a big problem in 2019, was they started testing specialist events after they cut 95% of the field.
And the crazy thing, the Olympic total in the 5K were after the first cuts in 2022, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They shouldn't. The specialist times are like, the games is the time to have the specialist events, but you got to have everybody doing the special events. They should be in the beginning. And then as you make your way through those specialist times, because like all the qualifiers up until this point, this is the issue with the 1 rep max, is not the time to be testing for a specialist. You want just fitness building into here, and it's like, okay, now we have all the fit people. Now let's see what you can really do. But you got to keep everybody in there to do that.
Yeah. All right. Here are the parameters if you guys are just joining us. Okay, everybody has to program 1 event in each modality: monostructural, weightlifting, gymnastics. They can use any format they want. It doesn't have to be a one-off. And then 1 mixed modality event. So I'll lead things off. My whole goal here was to make very easy to understand events, very classic format, in a day where you can just let the athletes just go crush. They're not hard to understand. They're not hard to follow. Which means they're not sexy in nature, but at the same time, I think watching the athletes do these would be really fun to watch. So I'll start with my monostructural test. I want to see the games athletes do acid bath.
I almost had that too.
I'm
like, no.
I was wondering if you're going to do it. I remember watching this in Dubai and seeing people rip on a ski into a row and then fight for their life on the bike and then realize they have to sprint 50 feet to the finish line was just fun to watch. And the way you could do this inside the arena is the same way they've done it with marathon rows in the past, where you can hook up everybody's C2. That's why they're all Concept 2 on a Jumbotron, and you can watch the boat race from row to ski to bike. So you'll be able to follow the action on the screen and then just watch people do insane things during it. And that would be a pretty cool thing to have in Vendor Village, and just let people come to the Concept 2 thing and just try it. Right? And you'll have that whole wave of people wanting to do it. Maybe I would honestly rather do the marathon row than acid bath, but that is my monostructural test. My weightlifting test. Since we did a lot of heavy Isabel, and I didn't want to see heavy Grace, I've always wanted to see Gwen for weight. So Gwen naturally, as a benchmark test, is just 15, 12, 9 of unbroken clean and jerks at 135 and 95. What this is athletes will have 10 minutes to establish a heavy 15 unbroken touch and go, a heavy 12 unbroken touch and go, and a heavy 9 unbroken touch and go. Each round will be open scored, and then your collective place among the three will be your final score, and then you'll be ranked on them. The tiebreakers, so say everybody does 225 in the round of 9, is how long it takes you to do the 9. So you can be great in 15, okay in 12, and not be good at 9, but you got top 5, top 20, top 20, and your total place finishes is your total finish. So they're not scored as a collective thing. It's more of a combination of your performance in each one against the field.
I always thought Gwen, this is how I've always done Gwen. I never knew it was at 135.95 was the way it was originally written. I thought it was always for load.
Yeah, I think it was just originally that.
I thought it was always for load too.
Yeah.
I love it. That's like one of my favorite. That's such a cool weightlifting test.
We almost did this when we went to Wadapalooza with Sentinel, and we had a couple like spectator workouts. We were thinking that we were going to do this as one of the days that we did, but that we ended up doing less of them, and this was the one that got cut.
Nice.
I think like 2 or 3 years ago, I don't know, like Ned Ackerman was on a team with Daniel Coots, but at Crescendo, we did 12.963, and each athlete had to do one of the numbers. I just added around, and they added up all their numbers at the end, and every team in the final heat, I think other than one, bombed at least one of them just from trying to go too heavy. I think they had like a 3-minute window. Oh yeah, it was really fun to watch, but there was a lot of risk, and some people got zeros for one of their spots, which is crazy.
That's a
I think you're right. You can pick your weight, but this allows people to do like multiple attempts in that 10 minutes. So yeah I think you're right. So yeah, all right, that's my weightlifting test. Scottish G, do you think judging will be a shit show? No, this seems pretty straightforward.
I don't think that's.
Oh, if you get a no rep, it's fucking debilitating.
That's where it's going to be fun because.
But that's why it's not a risk, because the athletes know that.
Right. I think it'd be great. All right, my gymnastics one. This was the hardest one for me. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, but I love a gymnastics test that has your push, pull, squat, like a Cindy type deal where you're just hitting all the movement patterns except for the core. So I have a 100-foot handstand walk. Every 10-foot section, you must do a pirouette in the middle. So you do 10 of those sections. Then you move to pistols, and it must be 10 unbroken on one leg, advance the next for 50 total. It doesn't matter which way you start with on the way out, but you must start with the opposite leg on the way back. So you can't just overload one side.
Right.
10 pegboard ascents right in the middle, and then work your way back, 50 pistols, 10 unbroken each leg, and then the 100-foot handstand walk with a pirouette every 10 feet. So I just get the little push, squat, pull, pyramid chipper, down and back. I think it would look pretty cool. That's my gymnastics test. All right, my mixed modal one. I talked about this on the last podcast. Oh, I forgot names. So acid bath, heavy Gwen, body work is my gymnastics test. A snail's pace is my mixed modal. This is a 150-foot snail push for time. Every time you break, you must run around the arena, which is about 300 meters, and then do 10 or 7 ring muscle-ups. The event starts with a run around the arena and muscle-ups, and then you push the snail. It will be right at the rig, and it'll finish 150 feet away at the finish line. So everyone will leave their lane, run around, come back to their lane so it's even. 10 ring muscle-ups, push. As soon as your momentum stops, you must run back through your lane, around the arena, muscle-ups, and back to the snail. I went and looked back at the climbing snail in 2016. They were doing 40-foot sections. They had 4 of those to do, and several people were stopping within the 40-foot sections. I don't think anybody is doing this unbroken. Most people could probably do it in 3. it'll be dangerous to try to do this in 2, but that's my mixed modal. So those are my 4. All right. Next
like the
up.
body work name the best.
Thank you. Bryson, you're up.
Okay, so my sort of debrief.
Where'd you find that picture? Did you go to the website?
CrossFitCharlotte.com, bro.
That's hilarious.
My debrief is I was not taking into account the events that are already announced or movements that are already announced. So I didn't think of the games already doing crossover double unders, or I guess teasing that, and I did not take into account the running and rowing workout. These are just 4 workouts I would like to see at the games. And I was trying not to write it thinking like, oh, I want to make these 4 workouts as balanced of a test as possible because Chase said I didn't have to. But writing 4 workouts, you just kind of start to think like that anyway. So that's my sort of debrief. I have 1 asterisk on my gymnastics workout that's like an equipment thing that I want to say when we get there.
Your monostructural test.
Okay, so this workout is called high speed, 5 rounds per time, 30 or 25 calorie echo bike, 800 meter run. This is my monostructural test. Obviously, I really like the echo bike run combination, and you don't see it a lot in general, but you really don't see it a lot with just those 2 movements. You see it a lot in training. I would say a lot of people do that combination in training, but never really seen it at like a high level competition. And I just was looking for a way to have a running workout that's not just a really long run followed by something else, or 1 or 2 really long runs with something in the middle. And I was almost kind of about to go down the interval path with it, but I didn't like any of the scoring ways that you could do intervals for this kind of thing, and it just ruining the race. So I ended up on this, and I think the numbers are right because the echo bike takes obviously a lot less time than an 800 meter run, but being good on an echo bike, you can make up more time on somebody than like all the guys are probably going to run pretty close paces. But then if you're running at a similar pace as somebody, the better echo biker is definitely going to win.
Yeah.
But you also can't be just a fast runner and make up enough time there to still suck on the echo bike and do well.
This reminds me of that .com workout they program a lot, where it's a 400 meter run and 50 air squats.
Yeah.
Where
it just breaks it up a little bit.
It's just a go, and then you make your legs worse, and now you got to run on tired legs. So I like that.
Bryson, did you name these?
Yeah.
I didn't name mine.
No, Taylor, you were the only one that didn't name them, so I added some for you. Just
was it IE1 and IE2?
Just to make everybody mad. I didn't give anybody that direction. I just wanted to see if anybody was going to do it.
This is my weightlifting test, north end of a southbound pig. It's 4 time, 10 pig flips at 510 or 350, 30 overhead squats at 225, 155, 10 pig flips. So my vision for this is on, like a big field, obviously, outside, 10 pig flips down over to the barbells. You do your 30 overhead squats, 10 pig flips back. That's time. This is a really CrossFit-y weightlifting test. And me and Taylor were talking about it earlier. I feel like all my workouts are really CrossFit-y, even though that they're a single modality. And that's just kind of what I guess I wasn't intentionally trying to think about that, but that's just where my brain naturally goes when we're doing this stuff. This is probably my favorite of all 4.
That's a good one.
And yes, it is a Colton Mertens reference. The name.
Getting that bar over. Although I'm sure that bar feels, excuse me, I'm sure that bar feels amazing after flipping that pig.
Yeah, it has to be terrible.
All right, your gymnastics one.
Last thing on my weightlifting test, I think 225 is probably heavy enough where everyone breaks unless you're just go really slow on the peg or something. I thought 205 would be a little bit too light.
I think people are breaking significantly.
I think that's a perfect weight though, dude. I like that.
Yeah, I think it's heavy enough that everyone breaks. Maybe one person just wants to do them unbroken so they go slow, but they don't win the workout. And I think 205 would be too light, and guys and a handful of people would maybe go unbroken, and I wouldn't want that for that test.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my gymnastics test, double dipper. It's for time, 50 GHD sit-ups, 75 toes to bar.
Oof.
50 GHD sit-ups, 5 pegboard, 50 GHD sit-ups, 25 ring complex. This has 2 asterisks. One, the ring complex is 1 ring muscle up plus 1 ring dip. And the second asterisk is, with the resource of the games, I would like these pegboards to be like 1.5 times the height of the normal pegboard. So that's what I was thinking about when I was trying to, because I would either have to make it more pegboards, but even then, I still just think longer and taller pegboards would be cooler at the games anyway. And I think all of them are good enough at it now that only makes sense. But yeah, this is obviously like super heavy midline, the name double dippers because of the double dip ring muscle ups.
Dude,
yeah,
that is so much core.
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I could imagine that first pegboard where you pick your knees up. It would be shocking.
Yeah, I think too, like everyone knows that the GHD and ring muscle up combo is like super midline. But I think the double dip is so exponential, like more midline, like trying to still efficiently kip your ring dip after the muscle up and keep your knees up high and pull them up high, like back to back like that, I think is so brutal. And yeah, this is definitely a midline test, but all gymnastics movements. So,
well, and then all the hip flexor for that double dip, for that re-dip, you're going to try and kip that. Oh, dude, 100.
It offsets your pig flips and overhead squats nicely, though.
Yeah. This is my mixed modal test, low drag. So kind of the name is playing off the high speed from the monostructural test, high speed, low drag. 90, 60, 30, basically heavy drag rope double unders. And then 15, 12, 9 of parallel handstand push-ups and sandbag to shoulders with a 175 or 125. So the flow is 90, then 15 parallel handstand push-up, 15 sandbag to shoulder, 60, 12, 12, 30, 9, 9. I wanted to end on the sandbag, and I thought 200 would be a little bit too heavy. We saw the workout at Syndicate that ended on the 9 sandbags, and it was crushing people. And I wanted this one specifically to be obviously still a heavy bag, but I wanted people to, be racing that 9 a little bit faster and go and do them unbroken. I probably would have thought 200. But just after watching how like Luke Parker looked on the last bag at Syndicate, I think a 175 is probably appropriate. I think 150 would be too light. And this one probably, I thought the gymnastics test was going to be the hardest, and maybe it was the hardest to get the original idea. I had the idea for this one pretty quick, but I changed the numbers a lot, and I was trying to figure out, I originally had it as 100. I had it as 21:59 with the parallel handstand push-up and sandbag shoulder, and then 100 before each set of parallel handstand push-ups.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to have 2 workouts that had descending rep schemes and then 100, 100, 100, and then the gymnastics test has a descending rep scheme and 50, 50, 50. So I wanted the drag ropes to be descending as well, and this is what I ended up on.
A cool format if you're in the I like the obviously the push, the pull from the floor, the drag ropes, all that shoulder fatigue. In an arena, it'd be kind of neat to see it off, like you just put the drag ropes maybe in the middle.
Yeah, I was thinking
that,
you basically bounce back and forth.
Yeah, rig to rope, and the rope advance and the bags advance, and that you get that flow there. But like that's just visual stuff. So
yeah, and I think too, like the big guys obviously are going to have a easy time on the sandbag than the little guys, but I think the heavy rope or the heavy drag rope being right before the parallel handstand push-ups makes the parallel handstand push-ups even harder than they already were, and that kind of makes it a little bit more even to me with the bag. So I like the ordering because you end on the sandbag and because you go straight from the rope to the parallel handstand push-ups.
Nice. All right, nice job, Bryson. JR, your turn.
Yeah, so after the show last week and then kind of getting this assignment, I was like, well, I can't say things that I want to see and then not. So I try to do a lot of that. I try to do a lot of the things that I would like to see at the games or maybe that I wouldn't like to see at the games and kind of insert those into here. And opposite to what Bryson said, I made these workouts assuming, hey, for this year's games, we're just going to insert these 4. So like I left jump rope out. I left like a long endurance test with running and row out. So I just kind of took what we had for this year and then built off of it from that. And yeah, that's it.
All right. Starting with your monostructural test.
Yeah. One lap wonder. I don't know why it says. I don't even know what that word is.
That's okay. It's not bad.
1 lap tease, 1 lap dance.
Yeah, so it's just straight up just 400 meter run. Like I really, really want to see it at a track at the games, and I put a little asterisk here because people would be wondering, well, how many people race at this one time? But all athletes will perform a time trial at check-in individually to set heat assignments. So, like think about cyclocross, how they did a lap and they use that to kind of rank everybody. I would want to do the same thing because if I was one of the fastest people, I would want to know that Taylor and Bill and Bryson and Chase were 4 of the other 9 people that had the fastest 400 meter times when we did the time trial, so that as a fan too, you're probably not going to see a ton of outliers. You're probably just going to see faster and faster people go. And this is something else too that like we don't have something like this until last year when they did a mile run for time. We didn't have something to just compare to other people. I mean,
we had the 550
right
random course, but not a straight something we know what it looks like and how fast people really are.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, especially if they did, a 6 miles of running, to come and do another running test that's just a straight up sprint with no stop and change of direction, no deceleration. You just go until you have to stop. I just think it'd be fun to watch.
That would be fun to watch. The mile was so much more fun than I thought it was going to be last year.
I was really looking forward to them. I knew that it would be really cool. I just really like to see that kind of stuff. I ran track in high school, so I don't know if I'm a little bit biased towards that. But I forgot that I think we talked about this a little bit on Shut Up and Scribble too. I was almost thinking for my monostructural event just a 100 meter dash or a 200.
Ooh.
I think that I really like this, and I would like to see all of those at the games.
Anytime they have a race or a lift or an activity that the mass population knows about and can relate to, I think is a great choice.
Yeah. All right, JR, your weightlifting test.
Yeah, so I kind of said this last week, just kind of throwing it out there, is wanting to see bench press in a workout at the CrossFit Games because we've never seen it before. And I think I just said 21:15.9 bench press and clean at 225. And I think that would be a good strength test to still show who is strong and who is not. And bench press, like strict handstand push-up, I mean, when you just can't do them, you just can't do them. And I think it separates really well. Instead of doing the 21:15.9 for a reason that you'll see later, but also because I was wondering about just watching Heavy Isabel is probably scarred me for life as far as just watching that low burn. So I just think making it 5 rounds instead of 3, it'll still allow the really good benchers to rip that set of 15 and to kind of separate early, but you'll still probably see some lead changes if people come out too hot. With 45 reps, you're going to have that. So the 9 and the 6 will kind of start to tell the story, and then by the end, the people can race at the end. So.
I like that you had the bench first because then you can advance that bar through the arena and just like follow the story from there.
Yeah. Yeah. So single modality, single movement, and then single modality couplet, and then so the third one's.
Hold on, sorry. Squid Game.
Yeah, Squid Game. So if you guys remember when Squid Game first came out, I think the very first scene was red light, green light. So I talked about this last week. You're trying to advance the pegboard or the rope climb somehow. You can only make it so tall. You can only make the rope so tall. You can mandate unbroken reps of something, which like Taylor's done on Kill Taylor before. I think Filthy 150 did it one time with rope climbs. I think if you made it like a positional thing where you had 2 tape lines. So you think about a pegboard, normally it's 12 holes, at least the wooden ones are. So on the 4th hole, you put a tape line right under it. On the 8th one, you put a tape line right under it. So for the men, you'll go above the tape line, back down to the beginning. 2nd tape line, back down to the beginning. Full pegboard, back down. That's 1. For the females, they'll do a 2 position. So they'll go up to the 6th hole, both pegs in, come back down to the beginning, then go full and come back down to the beginning. So for the females, every 2 reps they do, they're actually doing 3 pegboard. And it just really, I did them today just to kind of see what it would look like and what it would feel like if that was. It was cool. I mean, the coordination part of it was kind of, you get into a rhythm doing pegboard, having to stop yourself and go back down multiple times is just kind of funky, but I liked it. And then I did one with the girls up and back too. So they have the ascending rep scheme of pegboard, and then something else that I put in there that is definitely a polarizing, that's dumb or that would be cool to see, is I want to see more jumping for athleticism. And I think about rim touches in basketball in the same way that you would have to jump higher to do a drag rope double under, even a triple under. Doing jumps to a touch and not on top of something or over something, I think we could really do. And I think it would expose people that were really not athletic. Now, there is a height component to it, but if you imagine like a red strap like they used in Chaos or even a ring.
Oh, yeah.
You jump and touch, jump and touch, jump and touch. How many of those to 9 feet can you do? You can do the 20 unbroken. I guarantee you no one's doing the 30 or the 40. Like, you're going to have to stop and breathe. Not only do your legs blow up, but it puts you so out of breath to do that continuous bounding like that. I think you could probably go a little bit higher, but I wasn't confident that 9 and 8 feet wouldn't be something that someone physically couldn't do. I knew that they could do those heights.
Yeah, but that volume makes up for height.
And then so the first time I wrote this workout, Chase, I have to tell you, I had pegboard, pistol, and handstand walks. I'm really and I never programmed pistols. That's why I put them in there.
Yeah, I rarely do too.
Handstand walk, 1 rep is 50. So it's the whole thing is ascending 3 rounds, and you see the total volume there. So there'll be a lot of separation. This is definitely the longest workout of my 4.
All right. Mixed modal test, 75 hard.
All right. So 21, 15, 15, 15, 9 equals 75 reps in the middle. So basically you have a really light barbell. You get it overhead. You squat, you lunge right, you lunge left. You squat, you lunge right, you lunge left. You squat, you lunge right, you lunge left for 75 feet. Then you go 21, 15, 15, 15, 9 of echo bike toes to bar. And then you go back and you basically put the barbell back where it started. So
what do you do if you shuffle your feet on the squat?
No, you don't. I think people actually did really good at crescendo doing the worm complex like that. I was a little bit nervous about it. I think the people who have to move their feet at all just can't squat that narrow. So yeah, as long as they're not advancing their feet forward and they're just like, sliding their foot wider to squat. And again, with this weight, like I kind of wanted to put Randy in there somehow too. But I also knew that I didn't have a squat yet and I really needed a squat. And I just don't feel comfortable at all programming a certain load on high volume squatting. Like, it needs to be a certain load before you get into trouble. This is cool because you can only do one at a time before you have to lunge. So, and I think this is a weight where people can hold on to it and still rip the bike. Yeah. And I think it probably, for a lot of people, comes down to how hard can you bike and still hold on to the toes to bar. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that can even hold on to a rough combo.
That's a rough combo. I think if anybody shuffles during the lunge, I'll just make them put it down and do 3 bar facing burpees and then pick it up. All right, JR. Nice 4. Taylor.
Do I need to have a little preface before we start?
You can do whatever you want.
I'm really nervous, honestly, because the CAC's having a meeting about whether or not I should be removed right now, and I haven't heard anything about it. So I'm just I'm sitting here stewing, honestly. I'm stewing a bit. I was similar to Bryson. I didn't take any of the pre-announced events into consideration, and more so, I programmed what I thought would be really cool workouts to watch. Things are a little different than maybe have been done at the games. Maybe just slightly. And then also one thing that I've always wanted to see at the games, another thing in a way that I really think would be cool to see at the games. And then, to be completely frank, It's maybe relatively balanced. I didn't spend too much time worrying about, okay, is this movement selection
Oh yeah,
cohesive?
I spent
et
zero
cetera?
time thinking about that. I assume there's 10 other workouts that will help that. So, all right, your monostructural test.
Yeah. So this is a 2-2-2-3 interval with 1 minute of rest between sets. The way I envision this happening is Malik has bought CrossFit and it's rich again. We have all this money. So we're in the arena and we have a see-through tank style swimming pool in the middle of the floor. They bring it in, they bolt it together with like hard, probably like 6-inch thick plexiglass. It's just raised up and you can see the athletes swimming through the pool, and a platform on one end with the rower on it. And at 3, 2, 1, go, athletes dive off the platform. They swim 100 meters. They go 25 down, 25 back, 25 down, 25 back. They get out and they row as hard as possible in the time remaining. I changed it to just max calories in the time remaining. I remember we talked about the 170. So your score is just total calories.
So on the final 3 minutes. Okay, so no cap, just
right.
max.
There's no cap. It's just max. Yep. Yeah. I was unsure. I was like, I mean, I could swim a 110, 115, 100. And I don't know. I feel like I could swim a 120 for sure across all four. But I also feel like, and there I know, like, hey, someone like Matthias Porter definitely could. But I feel like swimming is at the point of the games where you have to be able to swim fast and hard when you're tired. And I think this is a way that pushes the athletes out of their comfort zone and levels them up in years to come. So it's not just the 300-meter swim, go as slow as you want. No, you have to be able to swim fast.
This would hurt so bad.
I love that you put swimming in there.
Disgusting.
So bad. All right, your weightlifting test.
And it's in a pool, by the way. It's in a pool, and it's in a see-through pool.
I like the see-through pool.
Yeah.
Like one of those Dubai ones where it's like elevated too. You just see
exactly. X. You should just keep adding an X each workout. Double X, triple X, quadruple X. So this workout is an old main site classic. It's just heavier. The main site workout is 2159, deadlifts at 275, overhead squats at 135 for men, or maybe it's 155. It might be 275, 155. So I just think 275 and 155, maybe a little lighter than what I would want to see at the games. I think this would be a really cool workout on the floor where you have 6 barbells, 3, 2, 1, go. You run to your first deadlift bar, 21 reps, advance. You don't advance the bar, but you advance 10 feet, 21 overhead squats, run to the next bar, 15, 15, 9, 9, and then cross the finish line.
Yeah.
And that's just a disgusting combination.
Yeah.
And it's a disgusting combination in the sense that testing midline is really important, and doing it in this way is very underrated.
I like how none of us shared these beforehand, but I like how your and Bryson's have a like heavy pull from the ground.
Yeah.
And a combo with overhead squats, heavy overhead squats.
Yeah.
That's funny. All right. Your gymnastics test, which you need to explain.
Yeah. So this event is elimination speed climb, and that's the name of the workout. The workout, if you could envision the 2017 CrossFit Games obstacle course, it's similar to that. It's going to be 8 heats of 5 athletes, and there's going to be essentially 4 eliminations. Round 1, everyone goes, then they eliminate 10 people. Round 2, everyone goes, eliminate 10 people, et cetera, et cetera. And the course is going to be 5 implements. 3 are the same, then 2 are the same, and then it finishes with 1 implement that it's just unique and on its own, and then you finish. It starts with 3 high wall get overs. So like a 12-foot wall or a 10-foot wall, a wall that like you run up, you plant a leg and you jump, you catch the top and you crawl over the top, kind of like a military style high wall. And then there will be 2 cargo nets. So like a 15-foot cargo net, you climb up over one side, down the other, run 20 feet forward, climb up one side, down or the other. And then the last object to climb is a 15-foot like bouldering wall or a 20-foot bouldering wall. That's the same exact course for each athlete in each lane. So I think Rogue could do this with like a plexiglass wall, or I think if they did the event similar to that North Park obstacle course event where the walls were built out of wood and you had the same handhold course in each lane. And you just climb to the top, tap the buzzer, and the first person to tap the bell or the buzzer wins each heat. I just think that would be such a cool visual. 3 high wall get overs, 2 cargo net get overs, 1 speed wall climb, just a sprint. Yeah.
Dude, I have been wanting them to do a speed wall bracket like they do the speed climbing for the Olympics now. It's on ESPN.
Yep.
Obviously, we want to be at that speed, but I think it'd be so cool to just have like 4 across and just it's go like that.
Yeah,
I
3, 2, 1, beep, and it's just so fast. I like that. When I was thinking about it, writing it yesterday, I was like, man, I wouldn't want any athletes to be in a harness with like an automatic belay. I think that would be kind of stupid. I mean, I don't know. I just wouldn't want to see that. And then if it's a wall that you don't have like a safety harness and belay, it can't be that tall, and climbing at one time would just be so fast, like a 15-foot maybe or a 20-foot. So that's why I thought adding the 3 high wall get overs, the 2 cargo net climbs, and then the rock wall ascent at the end would be cool. Because it's
sick.
Yeah, it would just be such a cool workout to watch.
You'd have to do that over a pool.
Yeah. And hey, and if right, yeah, maybe
do that over the plexiglass elevated pool.
A moat of Nickelodeon goo. But they could obviously do that. I mean, they've done obstacle course events that would cost more than this to construct. So I think that would be an easy day. Maybe not an easy day, but damn, would it be cool.
That would be cool. I mean, it would be less of a build than the final in 2010. So,
for sure.
What happened to the names?
This is my mixed modal test. G for ground, the running. A, anal for the burpee pull-ups, and then Y, yoked for the. I didn't name this. I think Bryson named it. But it's 5 rounds for time, 400 meter run, 15 burpee pull-ups, 12 dual kettlebell hang clean jerks. This was the workout that I wanted to be pretty long. And I think it's just as classic CrossFit as you can get, with a movement that allows, I guess, 2 movements that allow some degree of athleticism, like being athletic and good on the burpee pull-ups is, you can kind of discern that from athlete to athlete, and then being athletic and knowing how to move kettlebells well and efficiently. I think you can see, and this would just be an extremely painful workout.
Yeah. Hey, this is that Helen-esque triplet. I would always love to see some version of that in the game. So this is great. And the 5 rounds does make it even better. Would you keep the height of the bar fixed for everybody?
Yeah.
Okay. I like that. And I like the dual kettlebell clean and jerks.
Just a 96 inch pull-up bar.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I don't know who named that, but I know there weren't names, and that's just, I don't know how the 4 slide came up. Bill, close this out here.
So we already knew the long event that was there for the running. So obviously the initial joke was, I'll just pick that one because that's already in there for the monostructural, but I didn't do that. But I was kind of in the same boat where JR was, where there was things that I wanted to see, or things that we talked about when we did that show that was like, yeah, I really would want to see that. And sometimes I think that we get so hung up in the programming that's at the games that it's not unique enough. Sometimes I go off the rails, but it's not unique enough to actually test something different than they haven't already been tested on. And I hate seeing that the athletes get something at whatever qualifying level, and then the semis that get the games, and it's the same basic race. So it's like you see the exact same thing kind of coming out. So I tried to pick some unique things, some things that would be different, and then I guess probably my mixed modality one was probably the most classic CrossFit out of all of them. But I guess that's where I'll start. So time for the change. Now, this is something that John Young brought up when we were doing our things we want to see and what we don't see. And I really agreed with him, because the first thing I wrote down was acid bath. And I'm like, that is exactly how we see the machines. It's either all out, all go, or it's this kind of throwaway buy-in that we always do. And John talked about doing the classic 300 calorie on the Echo bike to see how long it would take. And I always thought that that you could do something like that if you advanced the machine down. And I think with the Echo Bike, you can do that. So the way I had it set up was everyone starts at the beginning, and at 50 cals, you'll get off the bike, you'll move the bike up forward a little bit, and then to whatever the next block or whatever. And then you do another 50 cals. You do that for 6 rounds. Once you get done with that, you run back to the finish line. So I think that there would be a way of seeing a different use of just straight power output to see who could blast in 1 minute's time, max calories. I think there's a lot more fitness that would be involved in that. And I think it would be a really unique way to see how I think a lot of athletes have done something similar to this, but they've never had to get off, get back on, get off, get back on. I think that would really change the routine for a lot of the athletes. Be kind of fun to see it.
I hope someone would eat shit advancing their bike.
I think that there could be. And I thought of different ways that they can do that. I know that some of the Echo Bikes have the bigger track for the wheels, and it's a lot easier to just kind of get up and move it. I thought about, actually, I think we were talking about doing it on like ski ergs where it was on a platform and the platform could be moved. I think that would be something like that, some way of moving them to where, I mean, there might be a little bit of precariousness, but not that much. You're not going to have to move it that far, so it's not going to get that hairy, I don't think.
Nice.
The weightlifting test. Now, this was the one.
Classic Bill Grundler.
This is the one I want to fucking see this workout.
This would be cool to see with the games field.
I think it would. And it doesn't have to be unbroken. So when we came up with this test for our awards stuff that we were doing, the trophy case awards, the trophy case events, the idea was to do it unbroken. So a 400-meter back rack carry, 225, 155 for the ladies, one back squat every 10 meters. I think the way I would do it in this scenario is if you drop the bar, you could drop it, if you drop it, whatever, but then to pick it up, you have to do 3 back squats. So that would be kind of your penalty to not hold it. So if you are a really good squatter and you want to try to game it and you don't want to have the, I've played with this, the CNS shutdown that happens when you're just under the load for that amount of time is really, really spicy. And I think it would be really fun to watch. This would be one that you could do out on a track or some sort of an arena type area. And it would be slow enough, but I think it would be really interesting to see the jostling that you would have in that 400 meters, even with that, because it's not real fast, but to see who's trying to push it, to see who breaks down, to see who gets, dropped. They try to go too far and then they drop it too early. And then they have to think about, 3 back squats before they get going again. I think that'd be really fun. But this is one that I've always wanted to see, and I still want to see it.
Have you tried this at the weight before? I know
I didn't make it very far. I tried it at 205. I almost made it. I think I was like 300 meters at 205.
Okay.
I think with athletes that are really, but that was me trying to do everything I could just to hold on to the thing. I wasn't really racing it. I think having that stimulus would make it very different too. Like you're not able, there's no reprieve if you're trying to race it, I don't think, which would be, it would be different.
All right. Gymnastics.
Coming up through the semis and the open, the semis into here, we just really didn't see that many ring muscle ups. And so I think that this is something that the athletes needed to be tested on. I kind of took this feel from when Dave programmed the one of the .com events. It was a 10 rounds of 200-meter run and 3 ring muscle ups.
Yeah.
And that was one of those ones that I think everyone can run well. But what I wanted was more of a bounding kind of hurdle hop. And so we do a lot of these things in the gym. It's like a PVC pipe hop. And I started doing more of those just with people cracking their shins on the boxes all the time. So I wouldn't do the box jumps as much. But what I found was that your heart rate jacks. I mean, it spikes when you do any sort of a height. And I played with this and I really wasn't sure what I wanted to do on the height. And that was the hard part. I know I figured that I would get questions about like, okay, it's a lot of bounding that's happening for like the rebound element, but like myself and then even a lot of the other athletes that I was watching our better athletes are not so good athletes. If they are moving on the hurdle, they aren't really jumping up really high. It's more of there's a bound element, but it's not like they're coming off of a box, dropping down onto something. So it's a lot different stimulus that way. But I also wanted people to be able to push. And so I think 20 at the 24 and 20 inches everyone will be able to do really well for the first 5 rounds. Right. And then it's the last 5 rounds will get really, really dicey. And I think it could be looked at as an EMOM almost, because you can move pretty quick if you are able to rebound or to have a continuous bounding. But the heart rate is going to be sky high. And I think that we need to up the gymnastics level for the ring muscle ups as well. I think we've only hit 50 one other time. Or 45, I think, is a number I think that I recall, but I don't know if we've hit that number yet.
Yeah, I think 45. Excuse me. I think 45 might be the most, just from Amanda 45.
Ah, okay. So yeah, that's what I was looking at with that one. High. I figured gymnastic with the bounding, which would get a nice little heart rate stimulus, and then into some high volume gymnastics.
All right.
Yeah, muscle up biathlon was 45 too, right?
Down 40. Yeah. You're right. All right, the white knuckler. 15, 25, 35. Skier, cows, toes to bar, and then clean and jerks at 135, 95. I wanted something that you were going to force to stay on, and anytime. I think if it was to be flipped the other way, the numbers, if it was a descending, there'd be a lot more pacing that would happen on the bigger sets as you work into like, okay, I need to be able to go really hard on the final set of 15s all the way down. Right. But when you rotate it around, the pacing element changes. And so I think it forces everyone to get deep into the set of 35 with a pretty high intensity. And then you're kind of holding on for dear life at that point. I don't know where on here. I mean, I was thinking the toes to bar would be a little light, but it's still 70. I think it's like 75, which is still a good number. But it's a matter of like, okay, how many of those do I want to go unbroken? And that's the thing that you always say, Chase, like just because you can, should you? Right. And in certain situations, in this particular situation, you might need to, or hold on a lot longer than you want to. And then I just think with the clean and jerk towards the end, you could just have them marching down towards the end at whatever number you want them to do, sets of 10 or something like that. I wouldn't want to break them up too much, but I think it would be fun to see that
oh man,
a quick movement of that barbell at the end.
It just sounds terrible. All right, so those are our 20. Now, what we'll do is we will basically look at everybody's individual ones they put. So everyone's monostructural, everyone's gymnastics, everyone's weightlifting, everyone's mixed modal, as I'm frantically collecting all of them. Right? And we're going to sit and pick what we think is the best of the bunch. So these are the 5 monostructural events programmed by the group. And so we have to, I mean, there's 5 of us, so we'll find one, but we have to vote which one we think.
Are you not allowed to vote for your own? You should do. I mean, that way.
you can vote for yourself as the Pope. Like I don't.
I think you should be able to vote for yourself because I'm not voting for myself on all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. I don't want to lead off. Someone needs to buy me some time. Bill, you're the host.
All right. So how do you want to do it? Do you want to do it as like hands up 4, or do you just want to pick them out, or you want to go down the list and say, okay, Bryson, who do you want?
I can go.
Well, let's go down. Let's go down the road. Yeah, let's go down the road. Bryson.
Yeah. So Bill, sorry, Bryson, you're first.
I'm in between Taylor or JR's.
3, 2, 1, go.
I'll go JR. The 400.
Taylor's.
I'm stoked you put swimming in there. I like mine, but I'll pick the swimming.
All right. The Taylors have it. Let me try to do this.
I would have picked Bryson if it said 0.5 mile run.
Shut up. Where is it? Oh, right there. All right, Taylor gets the monostructural. Now we are going to the weightlifting one. Let's see. Bryson, you went first last time. JR.
Yours, Chase's.
And Taylor.
I gotta pick yours too, but it bums me out because I want to pick mine for the mixed modal, but I can't do 2 clean and jerks.
I guess that's me. I like the pig flip one. That's I'm not even on there. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry about that. I'm trying. Okay. I'll pick Bryson's. Bryson.
I vote Bryson.
So is that 2-2? But Bill.
What are the scores right now?
It's 2 Gwen, 2 pig flip.
So you have to pick either me or Chase because you're a tiebreaker.
Damn.
Or you can pick something else and we can have a fan vote.
Ooh.
Pick what you want to pick, dude. Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna do that. I really like. I still want to see mine, but I like the bench press. I like JR's.
All right, fans. What do you say? 1st to 3. So Bryson or Chase's 1st to 3. You got to type it in. So if anybody's
Chase
yelling at the screen, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. So pig flip.
Bryson.
Bryson,
that's
Gwen.
1 each.
Okay, 1-1.
No, you can't pick that, but I like that one too.
Yeah.
Bryson.
Nope, it's either
Tied.
it's either pig. All right, Bryson.
Bryson got it.
Let's go.
We are picking the pig flip. All right, next on the docket is the gymnastics one. And so we had JR. So Taylor, you can lead it off now.
I gotta pick Taylor again. Can't help it, dude. I want to see the rock climbing so bad.
All right. Bill, 1 for Taylor.
I'll pick JR's on this one.
All right, 1 for JR. Let's see. Man. The only thing I have on Taylor's is that I don't think it's physically possible to program that with budget. But as far as just cool workouts, it is something I would like to see. With a knockout, it's pretty straightforward. You hit a timer. So I will also go with Taylor's. So that's 2 for Taylor. And what? JR, is that what you said, Bill?
Yeah.
All right. Bryson.
I'm voting Taylor's.
2 for Taylor. Well, we know JR's not going to vote for himself. But,
Vote for yourself, bro.
JR, who do you want?
Vote for yourself. That's not cute.
Taylor's. I like the idea.
Oh God.
All right.
All right, I changed my vote. That's what I'm saying. No new owners, no budget.
The Taylors.
We got oil money, boys.
Have it. All right. The last one is we have our mix modal. And Bill.
I'm going mine on this one. I like mine.
Bill is the
White knuckler.
15, 25, 35, ski, cals, toes to bar, clean and jerks. All right. Is it my turn? I'm going to vote for mine because that's what I wanted to see in our want to see show. I want to see the snail back in a big way, so I'm going to go myself. So 2 people just voted for themselves. Bryson.
I'm voting for myself.
Nice. I hope this is good. I hope this goes where we wanted to go. JR.
I do like yours, Chase. I just like the idea of some kind of a unbroken penalty, whatever, just being brought back. And the fact that teams used the snail last year, but the individuals didn't was really odd. So I hope that's because they wanted to see what it would look like in an arena, and so hopefully they bring it back.
Yeah.
So.
That's not why.
I was so mad the teams used it and the individuals didn't last year. Taylor.
JRs. We need squatting. We need squatting. Oh, we already have overhead squatting. JK. Oh,
Yeah.
man. But you can't pick sandbag to shoulder either because we had pig flips and also clean and jerks. Just so now I'm too corrupted by everything else that's happening.
Yeah, I was kind of just thinking as
I didn't even think about what everybody else just picked and what we have already.
There's
I think those are all different enough. Like if it was
overhead squat.
if it was
overhead
heavy
squat
power
combo.
clean, but then light clean and jerk or something. I think if it was both with barbell, maybe you could say that. But I think with them being all odd object except one, I think you'd be fine to still have clean and jerk.
Yeah. All right, Taylor, you're the last one.
Maybe probably Bryson's.
Okay. So it's Bryson with 2, Snail with 2. So it's Bryson or Chase starting now. You guys,
come on,
first
I
to
already
3.
have one. Ed, I need you to comment again.
First to 3.
Go. Who is
Go.
it? Chase versus Bryson?
Chase versus
Yeah.
Bryson. So
All right, and it
Snail
starts
versus
after
the
Aha.
drag rope.
Chase is in the lead.
No, those don't count above.
Oh,
Aha is anything below Aha's comment.
Oh, okay.
Chase,
Chase.
Chase got it. There's 3.
Bryson.
Chase got it.
Oh, no.
We said first
wait.
to 3, right?
Yeah.
Chase got it.
Oh, I thought Bryson got it.
Well,
No,
the
wait,
gay vote
Chase,
was for
Chase,
you.
both Bryson, Chase.
Oh, so the gay vote was for me too. Thanks, Bryson.
Yeah.
Is this true?
No, it's not. Okay. Sorry, guys. I'm getting my. All right. Okay, so the final 4 that we have here on our last page. All right. Day 1 of the CrossFit Games will be a 2-2-2-3 interval, 100-meter swim, maxed cows on the rower in the time remaining with a 1-minute rest in between. Then you have 10 pig flips at 5, 10, and 350, 30 overhead squats at 225 and 155, and 10 pig flips back. Then we have a obstacle course gymnastics test of 3 high wall get-overs, 2 cargo net climbs, and 1 rock wall ascent, elimination bracket-style gymnastics test. And we close things out with a 150-foot snail push for time. Every time you break, 300-meter run around the arena, 10 ring muscle-ups, end to end. I think that's a hell of a day 1, boys.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
That is.
That will put butts in seats and eyes on televisions, I have to say. I like it. And there's our day 1. Day 1. Oh, we should probably, can we rename Taylor's?
Taylor. I like that one.
Oh, we like that.
That's a good one.
Is that okay? Is that appropriate? Or do I not?
That's good.
We should name the
Climb.
gymnastics test BPC.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That was my original. Well, I was going to name like a bunch of different peptides for all your events because you didn't name it. I went that
Event
way.
1 TB, event 3 BP.
500 BPC, then 157. There you go. There's our 4 names. All right. That's day 1. We did it all in we did this in an hour. I think here's the thing, like all of these, well, minus the pool one, can be done in the arena. So we have an off-site event. There you go. That's tradition, right? Kickoff. What order would you guys want to see these in?
Dude, they could do this this is what I'm talking about. What would it cost them? It cost them $100K to rent the pool that year to do that event. What would it cost them? I want to say it probably cost Wadapalooza like $10K to get that tank on their VIP section. So now
Like the
times
bar?
it by 10. Yeah, at Miami Bayfront, they had a see-through water tank pool in the VIP section.
Oh.
10x it.
Oh, like
For
a,
fuck
okay.
it. say they got to spend 150K for a tank, dude. The visual of that would be insane. That's all you're paying for at that point in the games, anyways.
Well,
That
even
would
if you
get
don't
a
have
lot
it,
of eyes
you know,
who
that
wouldn't
would be
see
cool.
it normally would see it that way.
Yeah, that's a way to get tickets to sell. Sorry, the pool swim is in the arena.
It would fucking kill.
What order would you guys like to see this in for the day?
Swim, snail, climb, pig.
Swim, snail,
Yeah, that sounded like God just talked to me right there, dude. That was so loud in my ears.
Swim.
I was like, okay, we'll do it. Fine,
Damn.
we'll do it. Yeah, that would be cool. I almost would a night event with the elimination bracket just be wild if they kept it on a pace, right? Say like opening men and women's heats. Right? Well, it's all on buzzer. Just say no appeals. And
I
they
think you
do
could
it over the tank, so when people fall off the cargo net, they don't die. So they just fall into the tank. So the tank stays there.
Totally.
I think you could do the gymnastics test, like the elimination at night, like you're saying.
Right.
Do the swim first, like early in the morning, and then you could have the snail's pace and southbound pig workouts be like pretty close to each other, like in the same sort of like sitting for the fans anyway, on the same field.
I like that the pig and the snail are in the same day.
Yeah, yeah. You could. I think you do the snail first.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know. I think you could go either way.
No real wrong answer.
Yeah.
Although I think kicking off the day with the swim is more traditional. So, all right, team. That's it. That's our show. Today's Thursday. Anything else coming? Is you guys doing a show? Shut Up and Scribble doing anything coming up?
We may do a show tomorrow, but we're definitely doing a Kill Taylor Saturday. Not a workout Kill Taylor. That's going July 19th. That's the first one. But we're doing another pregame show this Saturday, and we're giving away 4 CrossFit Games tickets, 2 packs of 2. Just randomly.
What are you guys doing on the show? Just having other people do it?
No, we just have been having Saturday morning shows talking about whatever we want to talk about.
Cool.
And so this one we're going to give tickets away. And it might just be a comment scroll. Like, might just scroll the comments and stop it and just click on somebody and give them tickets.
Yeah.
2 sets of 2 tickets.
All right. 2 sets of 2 CrossFit Games tickets on Saturday on Shut Up and Scribble for Kill Taylor.
Exactly.
So that's awesome.
There is no what sponsor? Oh, I don't have that confirmed, John. I have to have that confirmed. Maybe John Young allegedly, I don't want to get sued for defamation here, but allegedly John Young may be sponsoring the first week of Kill Taylor.
Oh.
The JY Cox and Dix challenge.
Okay. Will a free T-shirt be awarded?
Free wife beater?
A free? No, I heard there's a
Free jug of Ovaltine.
Stockpile T-shirts. So everyone that calls into the show gets a shirt shipped to them. JY Barbell. We'll throw that out there. Pool boy, have so many fun ideas in the next Kill Taylor intro. Oh, all right. Well, guys, well done. There's 20 events for you guys to take home and test out and try for your own. Love to see something like this at the games. Thank you guys for all joining the show. Thanks for programming that and entertaining. I don't know, an idea that I thought was awesome because we all love programming, talking about it. Excited to see when the hints will start to drop or any other announcements will come from the games. So we shall see. But thank you guys. Happy Thursday. See ya Monday.